Hey guys, welcome to episode 105 of 4PlayerAnimecast. It is the 4th of November, getting right down to the last few months of 2018. We're smack dab in the middle of the fall 2018 season. Uh, However, we do have 3 episodes left compared to, a whole lot. And when I say whole lot, I mean a whole lot of series that we do want to, run through. So if you'll bear with us, we're going to be definitely taking a big chunk out of that this time around. So, anyways, with me, I finally have all 3 of my trusty compatriots as per usual. Nier.
Hi. Yeah, I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, Nier almost died all the way.
I was,
It was very fortunate.
I was sleeping. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Nier was playing what Toast did last episode.
Yeah. I'm alright.
Okay.
I've just been playing Red Dead 2, you know?
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah, I read it too.
very anime.
Hopefully they'll make it a mobile game next year.
Yeah, dude.
Toast? Ed? Okay. Dark?
Get back to him.
Oh, hello. There you go. There we go.
What the fuck?
Can you hear me?
Son
Yes.
of a bitch. Yes.
Now we can.
Okay. So what happened was I had my computer fixed a couple of weeks ago,
Yes.
and so on last Saturday I took a nap.
Yes.
And then when I woke up, I woke up ready for the podcast at like 8 or 9. It was actually 11 o'clock because this is what you need to pay attention to. If you get your computer repaired, make sure to fix your computer's clock. Otherwise,
So you set the alarm on the clock or whatever. Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Also, I just didn't want to show up. Probably.
Yeah, you didn't want to show up for the Goblin Slayer. I didn't want to show up for the Goblin Slayer episode.
All right. That's 2 of us. If there's 2 people gone, we can't podcast over. We'll
Yeah.
next week.
It's dead. But unfortunately, again, Toasted has some technical difficulties in the past few weeks, so please do give absence in the last episode. So yeah, and last but certainly not least,
Yeah?
yeah, he is a
You
person that
find-
is here.
I mean, I guess you left out of your week that you fucking found the Allspark.
Yeah.
So that's pretty wild. I don't know. I haven't been doing a
Hello,
whole
Dark.
lot.
What have you done since last week? Last podcast? Last week?
I've just been keeping up with stuff. Playing Monster Hunter. Been playing the Little Witch Academia game.
Is it good?
Yeah, it is actually. It's pretty awesome. It's got a lot more stuff than I expected.
Was it made by the same dudes who made the Ruby game, or am I thinking of something completely different?
No, God, no. The people,
No.
people who made the Ruby game are just like a part of Rooster Teeth.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
they're just a studio made by that. This is a what is it? A plus under
It
Arxis,
might be it. Oh,
Well, I don't think they're under Arxis with...
or not under Arxis?
but you're talking about Kill la Kill, right?
I don't think
No.
with the Little
No.
Witch game, they were not under Arxis. But yeah,
Oh yeah, no, that one.
Atlas.
Okay, no, the one they made before that,
yeah,
right?
Atlas is
think-
developing the...
Yes.
The Kill la Kill, the game,
Mhm,
the
mhm,
movie.
Exactly.
So,
does that mean Kill la Kill and Little Witch Academia are in the same universe?
Well, it is the Triggerverse.
yeah. Did
The-
you, did
The
you not
universe of
watch
great original art styles.
Luluco? It's all connected, dude.
What is it? Inferno Cop and Luluco are canon universe. So
Oh,
is,
so yeah.
is this the spiral universe that Kamina wanted to protect at the end of
Please.
Gurren Lagann?
Yeah, at the end of Current Lookup.
Yeah, but he couldn't. He
Yeah.
couldn't. He could stop the spirals, but he couldn't stop A1 from destroying Trigger apparently. But anyways, we'll be talking about maybe a little bit more about that later down the road.
Why do you think the last episode's called "All the Lights in the Sky Are Stars"? That's all A1.
Yeah, that's all A1.
Star-studded development.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna move on pretty quickly. And again, I am your host, Byron. This time we'll be covering, I guess, mostly pretty, again,
Spire, what have you been up to this week?
nothing much, just catching up with stuff. I've been doing some real life stuff that's kept me, running around, being at airports and such, and it's
Yeah,
not been
like what?
what.
Like what?
Yeah.
Is it
Stuff.
is it anime related?
It is not related.
Then why do you need to talk about it? No
That
one
is-
What?
It sounds personal.
Sorry.
You
Sorry for bringing up my real life stuff after you asked me. Anyways.
This is an anime podcast. This is not a real life podcast.
Sorry for that. But anyways, so I guess we'll just move on here, and we're going to be covering Anima Yell first, followed by Soroto Umi no Aida, or the space between the sky and the sea, and then what is that sumo series?
Hinamaru Zuma.
With a Z.
Yeah, Hinomaru Zuma, and then we'll round it up with a series that most of you should be familiar with, at least by name by now, and it is Gridman. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, first off, you wanna lead us off with that anime? Start?
Sure. I will lead off with anime. So for those that don't know, Anime Yell is a pretty standout series. Not many are like it. But no, this is it's a slice of life. It's got an all-female cast. Imagine that.
Isn't that sexist?
Yeah, it is actually horrible. And what was I gonna say? So basically, the premise is there's a girl who's walking by a baseball game or something, and then sees cheerleaders and gets inspired and wants to join a cheer club in high school. The only problem is that the school she's going to doesn't have one, so she has to make one. And so that's kind of where the series starts off.
So is there a difference between a cheer club and a cheerleading club? I know a cheer club's like a strictly Japanese thing, but cheerleading is more common around the world.
Well, see, that's the thing is that this is definitely it's cheerleading for sure. That's pretty much like their whole point is that they want to make a cheerleading club, and everyone's pretty much centered around getting roped in by the main character. And so, what was I gonna say? So far, the episode structure has essentially been gathering the club members. So it first starts with only getting roping in the girl who she originally saw cheerleading at the baseball game to join the club. And then second episode is getting her best friend to agree to join as well. And then from there, I think there's 2 more characters that are going to get added.
Well, I mean,
but they haven't done that just yet.
It's a pretty standard layout, right? I mean, the timeline rather. But
yeah.
What I'm kind of interested in is how's well.
But why are they cheerleading? Are they cheerleading any specific sport?
I mean,
no, actually, I will get into that though more.
Well, I mean, half the time, they just, you know what I mean? They just, all these girls in club stuff, they never really, they never really have some sort of inspiring whatever reason, right? It's always something wow, my mother used to be a cheerleader, or my mother used to do XYZ, or well, I saw somebody running past me by one day in a park that was part of this club, or some bullshit like that, right? And it's
My
always
father was a cheerleader.
yeah, my father was a cheerleader. you know, and then and then he passed away, and then I keep an album of him as a cheerleader, like shit like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what I'm kind of curious about is maybe the most straightforward one is how is the trivia in it? I guess that's we.
Well,
Do you really care that much about
me as a cheerleader, know a lot about it. No, so that's pretty much how the series is set up. Where it does try and it's pretty much like half and half, where it's got these light Yuri elements as you do, matched with some like cheerleading trivia that which both lead into either slapstick or like sort of I don't want to say pun, but like wordplay comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And so far I would say so far the trivia has been okay. That's why I definitely think it's focusing for sure on like cheerleading itself, more so than like what Toast is saying, like cheer club. There's a lot of terminology and also reference to like American cheerleading as well.
Is there an ancient spirit of cheerleading that the main character taps into?
No, this is not a Kiwani series. No, there's certainly not.
So what's their motivation for cheerleading? Who are they cheering?
You see, the main character likes supporting people and didn't really have anything for herself. And so cheerleading kind of became her sort of gateway, essentially, to not only be able to support other people, but to be able to do something for herself. And so what seems to be happening is they're doing a more episodic structure where their cheerleading club is essentially like cheerleaders for hire right now.
So they're not part of like a university or a club?
Well, no, they're part of a high school club, but it's like since they're just a club, they're not really like like the sports teams themselves, like they're not their own team. They don't have a coach or anything.
So this isn't like Cheers Volume 1 through 20 by Charlie Nishinaka.
No, this is more just standard like club stuff, but with somehow like trying to shoehorn like cheerleading trivia.
Yeah. So it does pretty much follow more strictly the whole, again, like, as you said, 4 girls in a club thing, rather than being like, okay, well, there's going to be a tournament in like 6, 7, 8 episodes. We're going to need to be good at something, right?
Yeah. So that's pretty much where like the cheerleaders for hire sort of situation comes in.
They sound like a mercenary group. Cheerleaders for hire.
I mean, they pretty much are.
Cheer on your face.
Yeah, they make like flyers, and they're like, "Hey, you guys need some cheerleaders? You guys need some cheerleaders at your games? Give us a call."
do they fault and extract rival cheerleaders and convert them to their mother cheerleading base?
I mean, they do that to one of the other characters. They win over a character at an event. Because she's like, I don't know if I really want to if I can really do this. And then they get essentially hired by the basketball team from their high school to go to their event to give them some motivation.
Now I'm motivated.
Yeah.
So,
and
yeah, go on.
No, I was gonna say, and that's pretty much like where it has left off for now. In the most recent episodes, because I still haven't gathered all the members, all the main cast yet. But they're getting there, and so far I think it was only one event. For some reason, episode like 3 was like, hey, we're the cheer club, and then someone's like, hey, I need you to help me convince someone, and I'm like, okay, that's not quite what they've signed up for, but sure, I guess we're doing this. And so that's kind of where I feel like it's definitely pushing that sort of wanting to juggle both like standard slice of life, like light Yuri element stuff with club stuff and cheerleading trivia.
This seems a little bit more like the audiovisual here looks a little bit more like something along the lines of what they did with Gujobu, right? And
Yeah,
then
it is a little bit similar.
yeah, and then unfortunately there are obviously 2 series that are being dubbed by Double Kobo this time around, or this season rather, which is Uchimate or Meiruza, right, or whatever it is, Uchino Meiruka Uza Suguru, and
Gochi
Anime.
Usa. That's already out.
So they are obviously going to be competing slightly for like funding and stuff like that. But it is interesting how they managed to sort of, I don't want to say necessarily made this one in like secret or anything like that, but kind of stuck it under the door, right?
Yeah, no, I mean this one is definitely like snuck in. It's definitely not the one that's getting the money.
Yeah.
For sure.
The one that's getting the attention is definitely Usamade.
Yeah, Uzumate is the one that's getting the budget.
Yeah.
But not to say that this one has bad audio visuals by any means. It's just that it's not. I would have liked for it to have pulled out stops for like certain stunts and cheer stuff.
More
But
frames.
yeah, they haven't.
Maybe
they will. Yeah, maybe they will. But as of right now, it seems like that's not really going to be the case.
You know that episode 1 thing where it's like, with like all like the frames like going down the staircase and stuff like that. That is literally all the frames like for the next 8 episodes of like NLEL just gone. Like anything they want to do.
Now I have a question. Is the cheering portion CG or rotoscope?
No,
or
it's
is it
neither.
actual animation?
It's anim-
Okay, good.
Even the like stunts and everything in the opening, it's not CG.
So it's not like Idolmaster season. It's not like Idolmaster season 2 where the dancing part was what is it? Was it CGI or was it copy and paste?
No, Idolmaster's. I think all of Idolmaster stuff was CG that was blended, right? Like it was essentially rotoscope CG.
Yeah.
Which looks fine, to be honest. Like you can tell from the.
I mean, it wasn't like Love Live
CG,
at least, right?
Yeah, it's not like a hard transition. So
yeah, exactly.
It's not like Concoli season 1 with the battle.
Well, yeah. Unfortunate, but anyway,
not many things can be like Concoli season 1. As unfortunate as that is.
Yeah. But anyways, any last words on Anime Yell?
Who's your favorite?
Who's my favorite?
Who's your favorite Anime Yell?
They're called Animas, by the way. They're not. They're not at all. But I would say the dynamics are pretty all right. The blue-haired girl is like was the cheerleader and was supposed to be the more like straight man of the group. But quickly that sort of turns into her basically trying or like overthinking things and assuming that everyone's gonna leave and she's gonna be left all alone again.
So she's the Chihaya of the group?
Yeah, more or less. But if Chihaya was used as more of like the butt of a joke than what they did use for Chihaya. I don't know. I think the character dynamics so far have been pretty enjoyable. Like I said, there's of course light Yuri elements in it. So actually, not even light Yuri elements. There's just pretty much Yuri elements. Not like
is it straight up like pairings or what's happening there?
It's hard to tell right now. I mean, so far it's been primarily the childhood friend Uki, the blonde-haired girl. She's been pretty much like a pairing with the main character, where it's unclear if the main character, if they're gonna try and push a romance thing, but there is a lot of sort of like gags with like indirect flirting from the main character with her. So
okay. So making the comedy off like the quote unquote Yuri relationships that could be made essentially.
Yeah. Okay. So it's unclear because there are going to be 5 characters anyway, so it's not like there can really be like they can't actually pair
they could
up
do
one
the
person
comedic like love triangle thing, like how How it was what was it like? Akari. Uh,
You mean Toshino
That's true,
Kyoko?
yeah.
no, not Kyoko. Fucking. Oh, I guess Kyoko. Yeah, I guess Kyoko.
Yeah.
Kyoko, the black haired girl. I forgot her name. And then Chinatsu. Right? It could be like that. Like they could
Yeah,
make a comedy,
actually,
but then like run it like that.
now that you bring that up, I think that is what the setup is going to be for the brown-haired girl, the blue-haired girl, and the redhead.
Okay.
I think that actually might be the setup. But the problem is that the uh, redhead hasn't actually joined in yet. I'm just going from like
Exactly.
promotional shit and stuff. Seems like that could be what they might go for there, but we'll have to see.
Okay.
I would say if you enjoy comedy slice of life
How's
and
the
light trivia.
how's the voice acting? Because I'm looking at this mall page, and most of these voice actors have like no roles.
Okay, so they are new. I was going to say, I was expecting them to be new because the voice acting I think is quite good, but it's weird because their voices not only sound distinct, but it also has like
I mean, some of them
there's some
aren't.
I
like
mean,
weird
the main
reverb
girl
on it
the main
too.
girl's part of Bandori,
Some of them
so it's
aren't necessarily new. Like the main girl is in Bang Dream. She was
yeah.
Serval in Kimono Friends, right? So like she's gotten roles, but like she doesn't have very many.
So this one probably bringing a little bit of blood or new blood or more less experienced blood, I guess I
And
want to
then
say,
like
right?
Yeah.
this blue-haired girl, her voice actor has a whopping 3 roles, and like her, she has like Prepara and some character in Kuro Makuro, and it's like what?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
Was she the Kuro or the Mukuro?
Damn, that's a question as old as time, really.
But yeah, it's they're definitely bringing in people that have been kind of doing random roles like student B or like girl C or some shit like that. And they're bringing up, which is always pretty nice to see as long as they are doing the roles properly. But are any of the voices kind of like out of touch? Like how it's like I brought up the thing where it's like the main girl in Nanamaru Sanbatsu, the quiz show, had like a really
Yeah.
like it was yeah, like in a sense, it was like a natural girl voice because it was like, oh, high school voice kind of thing. But it was also sort of evident that some parts she was a little bit rough on the edges, right? Is anything like
Yeah.
that there?
No, I would say some of the voices are like kind of standard, but they're not they're definitely not bad. They're not out of place or anything like that. So
Right.
it's
Okay.
not it's not like something that I don't think people are, it's not really super memorable, but the voices themselves are certainly like you can tell that these aren't voice actors you're used to hearing.
Right.
But they're also not, like being
Yeah.
forced to do voices that are gonna really, really push them.
Right. So they are kind of just they are mainly bringing out again the people who are again a little bit less experienced, but still. Yeah. Okay. So any last words on Anime Yell?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think comedy wise, I think it had some pretty good gags in there, some faster, like snappier, uh, comedy. There was one standout one that they don't really draw attention to, where like one of the characters tries to cover for another character by like coughing mid sentence when she repeats herself.
You mean like
Okay.
this podcast?
Yeah. And then the other character is just like has the internal monologue of like, really think that that helped? But it's pretty fast paced with a lot of the comedy, so I think it's quite nice.
Okay, so the piece is pretty brisk, and it's not just relying necessarily on the slice of life elements. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's got a really good balance. I would say there's less. I mean, there's no real like straight slice of life in it, is the thing. There's no there, or at least there hasn't really been. It's been either like them doing the club stuff specifically with cheerleading like trivia tied in, or it's like slapstick comedy.
Okay.
There's like one episode in particular that like had just general slice of life club stuff that wasn't really pertaining to cheerleading. So
Okay. So that's
if you want
Alright.
something snappy,
okay.
it's, the show for you, I guess.
All right. So with that, again, Dark, thank you for covering anime. I'm pretty sure if you guys do want that sort of girls in the club kind of thing, more recent series with a more snappy pace, please do check that out. And with that, we will move on to our second series that we're covering, which is Sora to Umi no Aida, or the space between the sky and the sea, right? Also known as space fishing, essentially. But so, I mean, this isn't, or Between the Sky and the Sea, I believe, is the official localization title or whatever. Right?
Yeah, that's space.
Yeah.
Right in between.
Right.
Is that a
The
riddle
thing.
between the sky and the sea? That's
Yeah.
what we call humanity.
No, I think what they're getting at with that title is that like what is space? It's not quite
Space is outside
it's not quite
air.
being in it's not well, I think that's what they mean, like feeling
That's
wise.
deep.
Like it's
Yeah.
not quite being in water and it's not quite being in the sky.
But
Right.
space is
Like,
outside.
I don't think it means I know. I doesn't not mean fucking physically in between the sky and the sea, because that would be called land. Or an island.
No, because underneath the sea is land. Have you heard of tectonic plates?
Dude,
What do you
they're
think?
not even real.
What do you think the sea sits on? Land.
I-
If it didn't sit on land, it would be
Atlas's shoulders.
it would be floating into space. What do you think causes gravity? The Earth's core.
I don't think
That's
this
not
topic is-
actually what causes gravity.
How can the Earth have a core if it's flat?
all right.
Yeah,
We
do you think the Earth's core is the sea?
All right, we actually did.
This anime doesn't make sense.
Anyways, so
I mean,
it
if
is-
you think that doesn't make sense, you're in for a fucking ride.
but yeah, it is actually a game original. So, or rather, it is a multimedia project. But it's essentially started sort of with a smartphone or mobile game. So
You mean like Diablo Immortal?
yes, exactly like Diablo. But so this is released and now an anime for it is out along with obviously other multimedia stuff. It is done by TMS Entertainment. The people that kind of did. I mean, they've done like a lot of random stuff. And a lot of the stuff is most related to stuff that's like product placement slash promotion stuff like that. But yeah. So this is mainly about girls who are essentially in the future. People still want to eat fish, but then they kind of like ran out in the earth, so Japan creates advanced technology, and they start sort of dealing with fish in space in these like sort of
Space
space sea
whales.
tanks, and and because of quote unquote equality laws, which I'll kind of get into later, in a different sort of way, women are allowed to fish in space. And then the story leads into a whole bunch of girls meeting together to become space fishers, and then they go on their little adventures and little escapades, essentially.
So it's like Deadliest Catch, but in space.
Closer than you might think, actually.
How many people die from space waves?
From space worms.
But no, there are no space waves because they're underwater already.
What? How can you be underwater but in space? What?
It's they're giant space water spheres.
Yeah.
Not unlike.
You mean planets like Neptune?
No, not quite. There are you may be hard pressed to know this, Toast, but there has actually not been a planet found with water on it,
What about Earth?
other than Earth.
We just found Earth a couple of years ago.
Checkmate, dude.
And Earth was found, Earth was found quite a while ago. In fact, some people consider Earth to be the first planet ever found.
Yeah.
But,
It was
Pablo,
found
you
a
is.
whole 2018 years
Does it
ago.
count as finding if we were born on it? Did we
Alright.
find Earth, or did Earth find us?
Shit.
That's deep. But yeah, anyways, we need to move on.
Well, we were Martians originally.
So they're biomes, I guess. Is that the word? The correct word?
No,
They're not quite biomes because they're just
Like,
like water.
like the thing is these. I mean, the world building in this series isn't like that rigorous. Honestly, it's just like they just need to like fish or like find stuff. And there's like huge balls of water in space, and I guess fucking fish are just living in it, or like sea creatures are just living in it, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess.
But who built these water balls? That I want to know about this world building.
Japan.
In Japan, dude.
Japan did it.
But
Japan, the greatest space explorers.
Yeah.
On the
Japan,
planet.
the greatest world builders in all of the world.
Yeah. But yeah, space balls, space sea balls folded 50,000 times. But yeah.
So tell me about the fish. Are these space fish?
Can I let me cover?
I want to hear about the space fish.
No, shut up. Let me finish the synopsis. But so again, they have these girls, and then they do the space fishing stuff like that. But it goes. This is the part where it goes from 0 to 60 very, very fast. So they have all these, escapades, and the escapades themselves are very normal. It's not exactly in the pace necessarily of something like Anime, but the idea of the girls kind of doing their shit, which is in this case space fishing, is pretty similar. But in terms of the actual like specific content, again, it goes from 0 to 60 very, very fast, where it's like they get shot off into space, like, via rocket, like a modern astronaut, and then they go into space, and they're like, oh, get into these mechas. So they all get into these mechas, or like not mechas, but like space sea exploration machines, right? I guess
space submarine.
They're like
remember
sea
that?
exploration machines.
Remember that little thing that James Cameron was in?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but if it had like little arms too.
Yeah, and also if it had a guardian spirit
like
inside.
a GM ball.
Actually, yes, it pretty much is a GM ball entirely.
Yeah.
Isn't it called like a diving sphere or something? That's what it's called.
In real life,
don't
yes,
know.
but they
Alright.
are basically GM balls.
And then the thing also for the girl also has a for the main girl, she also has a guardian spirit or some shit. Like
They all do. That's very important. They all have to
Yeah.
summon guardian spirits
Yeah,
through
exactly.
the power of a smartphone.
Yeah.
So is it like a fish, or is it like
No,
No. The guardian
they're
spirits
quite
itself are,
literally
like,
guardian
fox.
spirits.
Yeah, they're like Japanese
Oh.
fox guardian spirits and stuff. It's like really weird. And then
That's
they each
lame.
like gain powers and stuff like that, like fishing based focused powers. It's like super weird.
Do
And
they though?
fishing
Because
powers?
one
What?
of them summons who the fuck was it? The one with the sword, the samurai sword, and they literally get a fucking katana in that they're
Yeah, but the girl
little
like
diving sphere
explains like they
holds.
have all these powers to like work out shit for like fishing, right? It's like at the end of the day, like they kind of just use it for fishing. So it's like
Well, I mean, yeah, like it can assist in fishing, but I wouldn't describe them as fishing powers. Like if one of them gave them a gun, I wouldn't be like,
guess, yeah.
You know,
is it
that's true.
like a
That's true.
harpoon gun, or is it
No, it's-
like a spear?
It's like their weapons, but it's like the girls are all like focused on just like fishing these like creatures. So it's all like it's like the main girl is like, yeah, you don't get any weapons, but you're like really good at finding fish. Like it's
Like what? Like what do you need to fight fish? A spear gun?
no,
no,
pretty
no.
much a lightning spear from Odin, rather.
Yeah. So this is also
Or like a grenade?
yeah. I mean, again, so to help explain that, the series then after you get past the exploration machines, after you get past the guardian spirits or whatever, you're like, okay, well this series is going wild places. and then you're like, oh, it's like they introduced like giant sea monsters and stuff like that, like giant sea crabs that they
Yeah,
have to
fucking
like,
giant enemy crab.
yeah, like
You
you had to
know,
beat up.
I have the mall page for this series open, and I was wondering, like, this series seems pretty standard just from like the basic premise. Why would it possibly have a 4.8?
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess now I know why.
So like
Honestly, I find it hilarious.
It has a 4.8.
Yeah, it has a 4.88.
Holy shit, dude.
Dude, I think it's hilarious, man.
I
So,
mean, it is, but it's also
It sounds
Stupid.
a four.
Yeah.
It
pretty dumb.
definitely a fucking 4.8.
So
Yeah,
is this like Gargantia but with more space fishing stuff? Like I'm trying to figure out like a parallel to this, and I don't get it.
No, Gargantia is a little bit more like large scale. Although the idea you're thinking of, I know why you brought it up. Again, the idea itself, it's like the girls kind of in their quote unquote club slash theme, kind of doing their stuff. But it's like, again, the specifics are just like they're just doing all this like shit. It's like it's almost like in a sense, it's kind of like how Zettai Boy Leviathan is like stuff like that ilk kind of lands up, where it's like the core of the story is just like you're just kind of doing whatever, but it's like the specifics of like what they're doing, where they're just like fucking like cracking open walls and like shooting shit and like doing something. You're like, what's going on right now? What's going on? So that's sort of how it goes. Again, it's
So
like
why is the score so low on Mall? What is it?
because people fucking are like, this doesn't make any sense, which is reasonable. And then the second of all, it's like, oh, it's just girls doing fishing, so they get a lower score.
But I like fish.
I only watched episode 1, I will admit, but I can see exactly why it has a 4 point. The audio visuals are kind of whack. In some cases, yeah. They're pretty whack sometimes.
It's TMS sensor, so.
And like Spire said, like it gets fucking 0 to 100 real goddamn quick. So like, when you start introducing fucking guardian spirits in your fishing, and you see fucking GM, like literally GM spheres, fucking just holding a katana and slashing at fucking sunfish, like it gets a little. It gets a little like
this isn't what I expected.
Yeah, your brain kind of has a little trouble handling what you're fucking.
I think it's also like obviously it's like from a game and stuff like that, but and a lot of the voice actors are like related to the game, obviously, because they're from the game.
What kind of game is this?
I don't know.
Ask
me.
I would, I would kind of hope. I would hope it's like an arcade game where you actually like sit in the little sphere and you put your phone in. But I doubt that's.
It's like Conclave, but it's like the bosses are like just giant sea monsters.
Like it can't be.
It's like areas with like giant sea monsters.
It can't be like a gacha, right? Unless you're gachaing for fish.
Probably gotching for no, you're probably gotching for the girls and the guardian spirits, and then you gotta get the fish.
How big are these fish? Like, are they?
They're quite huge. They're pretty massive.
No, you probably had the guardian spirits with the girls, but you have to. The gacha has a pool of both the girls and of the different like machines, like diving machines and stuff like that. And then you get a 5-star, but it's just the diving machine and not the girl, and you're like, fuck.
You get you have to get the 5-star diving machine and the 5-star guardian spirit.
And they're the same.
And the 5-star girl.
They're all in the same pool.
And they have to be matching types, or you can't use them together.
Dude, oh my god, that sounds like the shittiest mobile. But
you created the greatest, most profitable mobile game of all time.
But yeah, so again, it is a mobile game initially, and a lot of the voice actors come from it. But it's like I'm getting the sense that like after the anime, they want to like kind of do a little bit more of selling of the girls and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Not just like selling of like the game, like the franchise or some bullshit, but like kind of do like albums and like whatever stuff. Because like, a lot of these girls that are like involved in voice acting, like Rika Tachibana Rika, Takahashi Kari, and stuff like that, are also related to like other sort of, like 2D idol games and stuff like that, for instance, right? So, and a lot of them have their own like like the girls in this series, like Between the Sky and Sea, they all have their like weird like vocal tick, and like they like it's almost like the anime wants to like show off their like unique vocal signature or like signature style or whatever, because it's like obviously the main girl is like the Genki girl, the main orange hair girl. You know what I mean? Like for like how it is in like every idol game these days, right? It's like the main orange hair girl, right? The energetic one.
I mean, the
So,
series is very much trying to emulate like idol stuff.
yeah, exactly. And then there's other like there's even a girl that's literally named Ruby in the series. So like fucking they're going full Love Life shit. But there's also other characters that are like there's a Bokuko by Bokuko I mean a girl who refers to herself as Boku, and Boku is like it's like referring to oneself in a sort of like a younger boyish like younger male fashion.
So the tomboy.
Yeah, a very very tomboy kind of thing. And then there's like all these people with like different like sort of like country or like Western Japan accents. Like what is it? Like the girl with like the black hair. Like
You got Osaka.
yeah,
The
like
Texan accent.
yeah, like the in the picture you see like the girl with like the long blue hair, right? It's like the Tunhill, and she's supposed to be, I guess, it's like a more like prim girl, but uh, but it's always she acts like an ojo-sama, and then she reverts into stuff like "nanye-den" or "nanye-ken" or "soyena" or those sorts of phrases that Western Japanese people use. And then the glasses girl, right? The one that's like purple haired and like sipping down the shy, has a super super stereotypical country accent, which I think is in the subs. It's localized as some sort of like weird Irish accent or Scottish Irish. No, not Irish, but
no.
Scottish kind of thing. But
No, you mean
Scottish
like
or Wales accent kind of stuff.
so
But
like Dragon Quest accents?
it's weird. It's very country. It's like um, she says stuff like dasna or whatever, like those suffixes at the end, and it's very very weird. And so they tried to make it kind of as if they're trying to solve the girls a lot. So not just in a mobile game kind of way, but as in like a more to the idol sort of way. So that's an interesting thought I just had. So yeah, that's all.
So what's the biggest thing they caught? The crab?
They caught.
No, the boys had
no.
to catch the crab because girls can't fish.
Oh yeah,
It is
Yeah,
Tobin
did you forget
Fiddler's
about that
catch.
angle? They really pushed that in the first episode. At
No,
least.
no. What I wanted to say was fuck. What did I want to say? Yeah, just before closing the series off, I want to say, so they pulled out the whole like because of progressive equality laws in Japan, women got to do the fishing thing or some bullshit, right? They pulled a whole bunch of reasons, and then they covered up with blah, blah, blah. It's because Japan is progressive. What white people don't understand, and what Japanese people like, especially if they're a little bit more in the know, like not just like city boys or city girls, but if they actually knew about how fishing works in Asian countries, is that actually a lot of this sort of like I want to say smaller fishing, for instance, fishing for how do I say it, like smaller eels that are closer to the coastline, oyster stuff, diving and getting stuff. A lot of it's done by middle-aged older ladies, right? Like women, it is fisher women that are already doing this, and I'm not talking about like anime. I'm talking about right now, in like real life. So I don't know where this whole like because of progressive equality, women are just now like getting a
Finally.
hold of fishing. I'm like,
Well,
what
Asian
years is
women
this
are already
place?
at the very
fishing.
least, it's nice to know that by the time humanity is freely traversing space, women will have equal rights.
Yeah, in Japan, finally,
fish.
finally, Japanese women have all the equality they want to get all the fish for the men.
But-
Listen, ladies, we gotta make some space water spheres first. All right.
Yeah.
Isn't it because women in Japan are a rare commodity?
Rare commodity.
Rare commodity.
Wait, excuse me?
Isn't
What
there
do
like
you
more?
mean by
Isn't there more men in Japan? Like currently, is this some sort of topical?
The
Topical
male, I mean, in
notes?
general, the population is getting older. In terms of the male population increasing, I think there's a slight bias towards males, although it's not as bad as China. But I haven't heard any
All right,
big news. about
maybe I'm
that.
thinking of China then.
Yeah. In China, there's a huge problem, but that's a discussion for another time. But yeah, that's sort of
Yeah, China has that internet addiction thing. They made an anime about it.
that is true, but that also has nothing to do with the gender problem you just talked about. So, but yeah, that's more or less what I had to say about anime. Thanks for bringing up talk about the equality women feature thing, Dark. So that's more or less again what I had to say about anime. Any last word, or not anime? Excuse me.
Yeah, anime. Yeah.
Sora to Umi no Aida. As for any last words, I would say I think it's pretty. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it because it's like super degenerate